Briggs. I am a seminarian here with the Fund for Theological Education, and this is my second time at the Samuel DeWitt Proctor Conference. And I made a point to be here this year because, one, it's the 10th anniversary, so I knew that we were going to have some living legends here who would give us some practical information and also just inspire us with their stories of triumph and resiliency. And I'm here because, as a social justice advocate, seeking to end gender-based violence, it just helps to be in a community with other faith leaders who are doing this work nationally and globally, and just helping me in my own ministry, getting practical tips and information, networking with folks from all over the country. It's just been really a blessing to me, and it's a wonderful experience. Yesterday's opening plenary with Alan Bozek, every time he speaks, it's really an encouragement to know the story of apartheid and to relate it to our struggle here in the United States. I think it speaks to the intentionality we have to have in cross-cultural communication and learning from our sisters and brothers around the globe who've actually faced these same issues, just in their own context.
What things about Bozek stood out to you?
His dynamic personality, he's a charismatic presenter, his knowledge, everything from theory to on-the-ground work, it's just he embodies what the work that Samuel DeWitt Proctor will want us to do.
Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Stewart, and I am a student at the Interdenominational Theological Center. Just being here and some of the things that are going on in terms of mass incarceration and how Black people is facing this dilemma, I've realized that it's also a serious issue in my country, where we have a lot of our young Black men who are going off to jail because of, basically they're not violent, but because of they just have maybe a pound of weed or reckless behavior. So I think for me, just being here and dialoguing and hearing some of the issues that have been raised, it has helped me to realize that I have a duty in my own country to sound the alarm that they are serious, that we need to move quickly, because if not, we are going to lose a generation of young people who are brilliant, who we need to basically groom and help them to realize that there is hope. And I think this conference has really helped me and empowered me to do that.
Okay, so basically, if I can summarize you accurately, you're saying basically that some of the same issues that we have here are resonating with you back home as well.
Yes.
Okay. All right. What things stood out the most for this conference? Which things caught your attention the most? I know you said something about a little bit about the new Jim Crow stuff, the mass incarceration. Is that pretty much the biggest issue?
I don't think that is the biggest issue. I think the biggest issue for me is just kind of understanding and being in this country. I'm still learning about the culture and the history of America, and I'm realizing that, we have so much in common, and that as Black people here in the Caribbean and even in Africa, that we're constantly facing oppression. And these oppression that we're facing, put us in a place where we're constantly fighting. And many times we believe that it is okay to stop fighting. Many times we believe that it is okay to put down, put down our shield and believe that, and think that the fight is over. One of the major issue that stood out to me is that we have a fight, and that we have to continue to do justice, and that we have to continue to sound the alarm until justice is served for all humanity, not just Black people, not just white people, but all humanity. And I think that's one of the major issues that stood out. And just to be here and being around other seminarians and
Okay, so basically global justice.
Global justice
is the thing that stands out for you. Okay, all right. Well, thank you so much. All right.
Arthur Mitchell, graduating senior, pursuing a Master Divinity program at the Interdenominational Theological Center in Atlanta, Georgia.
Tell us about your experience here at the conference.
The Proctor Conference is a great place for application of the academy training in which you receive. It's a great place where you're able to walk out the praxis piece and also the theoretical constructs that you learn in the academy and how to apply them in everyday life once you are full-time in the ministry. It's also a great place as well for an academician to stay relevant in terms of the topics and things that the communities need from a social justice platform. I believe it's an integral part of one's development as a seminarian and also as a leader of God's people.
What things during this particular experience, which plenaries, which speakers stood out to you the most? And why?
Okay, great. It's an awesome experience to be in a plenary session led by Reverend Dr. Gina Stewart and also by Dr. Bernstein, individuals who have been where I'm at right now and also who don't feel like it's robbery to give back. And so they're able to actually show how they're able to bridge the academy and then also their church together as one and be able to show how to actually walk out some of the living things that we're learning in terms of the theoretical constructs again in the classroom. For example, prophetic preaching. Being able to bridge the gap to show how it's one thing to talk about preaching a prophetic gospel, but another way to be able to preach and teach prophetically and also live out what you're actually preaching from the pulpit. Oftentimes we see individuals and hear individuals that preach prophetically, but yet they never quite teach us and share with us how to bridge the gap and how to live out what is being preached as well.
Juanita Shepard.
Rashawn Wilson.
And which school?
We both went the ITC.
All right. Basically, give us an overview of what, which plenaries or speakers or whatever during the course of this week stood out and why.
I think for me, one of the classes that I really appreciated was the class called Impacting the Effects of Trauma on the Church and Community. I think it really touched me in such a way in that understanding we all have traumatic experiences and we correlate it out in our ministry walk. And so how do we work on community, how to be able to reach out community is all based upon that. And so the things that we have trauma, and if we don't have time to find a place to find healing in those things, then we find out we either shut people out, we judge people based upon those things, or we become ineffective because we haven't dealt with our own past.
Okay. Sean?
I guess mine would be empowering and mobilizing youth in the age of hip-hop with Reverend Damian Durns, a few others. For me, working with youth, especially in the urban population, I think that's very, very, very important to reach those youth right where they are. And a lot of times we want to say that hip-hop is so secular and that it have no relation to church or ministry or social justice at all when it actually bridged and came out of social justice. And that's the whole purpose of hip-hop in its origins. And that's why a lot of youth identify with it because they speak their language, they understand their struggles, and I think if we're able to bridge that gap and understand what they're going through, how they feel, and use hip-hop to reach them in a Christian setting, I think we can impact more than just what we're impacting right now, the few children that we have. And then that also bridges or gets ourselves outside of the church walls and gets those students, those children, and those youth at the schools, in the community that don't actually have that view of Christ and understand what Christianity is all about. I think that's powerful, and I think they did an amazing job getting that through to a lot of the older generation who might not understand hip-hop.
What's the intersection between trauma that you enjoy learning about and the hip-hop generation?
Well, I think it's exactly what she said. A lot of the youth are enduring this trauma. I mean, you have cases like Trayvon Martin that just does not happen in Florida, but it happens every single day. And it's a result because I don't think the church or a lot of us are going out reaching them, and we don't know how to reach them. But I think once we understand where they are and how they are, then that whole trauma effect, we're able to do exactly what they talked about in your workshops, reaching them.
Another part I think is just retelling the story. And I think in some ways that's what hip-hop is doing, just retelling the stories. It's helping them to heal through words and their own expressions.
right, well, thank you so much. Hope you enjoy the rest of your stay.
Thank you.